Joining us now to talk about the prospects of that is a veteran prosecutor of environmental crimes, former chief of the Department of Justice Environmental Crimes, and now University of Michigan professor of law, David Uhlmann. He joins us now live from the university this morning. Good morning to you, sir. What are the prospects here for not just civil but criminal charges against Transocean, Halliburton, and BP?
Well, I think it's virtually certain that BP will be criminally prosecuted for the Gulf oil spill, and it's possible that Transocean and Halliburton will be prosecuted as well.
Well, on what basis here? I'm looking at this editorial you had in the New York Times today, and I love the title of it alone. Prosecuting crimes against the earth is how you characterize the case that we may be looking at here. But there are a number of different laws that you bring to light, and so many of them aren't necessarily familiar to our audience. You're talking about violations of the Clean Water Act, the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, the Refuse Act, and of course, broader charges here on the criminal front. What's the bottom line here? I mean, how much of a cost potentially, how long of a case is there against BP?
Well, the bottom line, I think, for BP is criminal penalties quite possibly reaching into the billions of dollars, and penalties equaling that amount on the civil side. In terms of how long it'll take, that's obviously much harder to say. I mean, the Exxon Valdez case, which is the closest blueprint that we have to this case, took many years, and in fact, and you add in all the private litigation, that was only wrapped up in the last 2 years. So this could be going on for a while, and of course, the spill could be going on for a while.
What is your initial analysis, having worked at the DOJ, having looked at crimes along the lines of this? Do you think that the legal response thus far has been better than perhaps the emergency response?
There's no question. I mean, to be fair to the administration, everybody involved, the emergency response has been crisis mode. It's very hard to manage crises. They didn't know what they were dealing with at the beginning. They were relying quite properly on BP to stop its oil spill. The legal response, for better or worse, we've been down this road before in terms of prosecuting significant crimes against the environment. And they know what they're doing at the Justice Department when it comes to bringing criminal charges in a case like this.
But talk to me about the Oil Pollution Act, because that was really created in response to Exxon Valdez. Is that going to apply here if there are criminal charges?
Well, yes and no. I mean, the Oil Pollution Act certainly applies here. In fact, I think what your listeners have heard talked about is some damage caps that apply, civil damage caps that apply to the Oil Pollution Act. That and civil penalties, dramatic increase in civil penalties was created by the Oil Pollution Act. But on the criminal side, the government has had the authority since before the Oil Pollution Act to bring criminal charges for this kind of oil spill. That's exactly what we saw in the Exxon Valdez case, and that's exactly what we're going to see again here.
Does it bother you or give you pause in any way, as someone with legal training who served in this office, that there are those talking about basically rewriting the law to serve this crime? I mean, as a lawyer, isn't it sort of precedence and historical precedence that creates the framework for what you work off of? I mean, should we be reshaping the law and coming up with some sort of penalty for this in some new way?
Well, I mean, I think we have actually quite adequate penalties for this kind of misconduct. On the criminal side, the penalty could be as much as twice the loss associated with the offense. That's going to take us into the billions of dollars. So no need to rewrite the criminal laws here.
All right. Thank you so much for giving us your analysis, and we'd love to check back in with you as we continue to track these legal challenges.